Hello everybody, welcome to this wonderful reading. I'm Zoe Alex, welcome. So basically, this is going to be for the day of the week reading for June the 16th to June 21st of 2025. So basically, in this wonderful reading, I just want to say to everyone who is out there, who's watching this video, okay, you know, the way how this is, the way I'm going to be a little bit sincere is that this is the way it's going to be in that way, right? We have to impose what we're going to be doing, and this is the way kind of, how it goes. And we have to understand we need to understand the way how it is, right? It's like, this is the way it seems to be. And, during the week about what's happening, and, this is the way it kind of occurs. We have to understand about how it's going to be in that way, right? How it's going to be very interesting about how it is, and you're thinking, okay, well, everything seems to be fine, alright, this is the way it kind of goes. And when you have your own circumstances, to know from the ins and outs and, above and beyond the situation, we have to understand about the way of how it goes in that way. We have to imply of what we were looking for in that way, right? We have to do exactly what we do. We have to be responsible how we feeling, and that's how it is. So we have to understand that there are basic ways to understand of how we are feeling in that way. We have to know about from the way of how it is, but then you have to understand about how it seems to be. So we have to understand that during this week, we have to understand what's going to comply every single day, because we have to understand how it goes, right? We have to believe what it takes, because we have to understand that this is the way of how we can choreograph our own situations to understand both the way of how it goes, right? We have to believe what it takes, but then we have to understand that we have to get involved about how we're feeling, but that's how it is, right? We have to go with the flow. We have to know about how everything is, right? Because there is always a silver lining to every single situations. That's how it goes. But we have to believe that what's happening in this whole entire situation, we have to know exactly how it is. We're not going to be having our own mind control or whatever. We have to exactly do what we can, right? That's how it is. So this oracle card I'm going to read you, it says grief. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. That's how it goes. So when you have grief, you're basically grieving about what's happening in the way of how you're feeling. It could be where you're having grief that you lost somebody, or it could be where you're having grief because you don't know what to do, or whatever. So you have to understand what the way how this is, and the way how it goes, where if you have grief, you have to pay attention on what's going on. We have to know exactly how it is, right? That's how it goes. So when you have grief, you have to understand about what it takes, because you have to do exactly what you're told to do, right? So if you lost somebody, if you not feeling so good, or you're feeling whatever, you're going to pouch or whatever it is, you have to know exactly how it is, because that's how it is. So when you have grief, you have to pay attention on what's going on, but then that's how it is in that way, alright? So that's how it is. So I'm going to figure out what's happening through this whole entire reading, and this is the way it kind of goes, and we have to know exactly what it is. So it's like everything seems to be fine, but it's like, well, this is an opportunity to understand that, right? This is the way of how you can understand that, and this is the way it seems to be. So you have to believe about what it takes, because about how it is, right? So that's how it's going to be that, right? So it's like, okay, everything seems to be fine, but then that's how it is. So we have to know exactly how it is. We have to know what it takes, and we have to believe what's happening in that dialogue, because that's how it is, right? We have to believe that everything seems to be fine, and thinking, alright, this is the way it seems to be, but then this is how it is. This is the way it kind of goes. So here we go. So basically, in this format of this whole entire about this reading, it is basically the first off that I'm going to tell you is the Sun card reverse. There's negativity. Okay, so there's no positivity. Once you're in negative, you're basically in negative, right? because you're basically having negative emotions, because things are not going right, things are not going left, whatever it is. And that's how it is, right? So it's like, why are you doing this? Why are you having this process? Because that's the way it goes, right? So you have to understand what it takes, because about how it is, right? You have to believe what everything seems to be fine, and this is the way it kind of goes. This is not wicked. This is not how it is, but you have to know exactly how it is. The two lines is upright. That represents planning, because you might be planning on something. You could be dealing with another Leo, Aries, Sagittarius as well, as fire signs as zodiac signs as well. So that's how it is. The 7 wands is upright because you're feeling resilience. You know it, but it could be another Leo, Aries, Sagittarius as well. So you pay attention to that as well. The Gemini is upright because you're going to take action on it. That's how it is, right? That's how it's kind of based on that. That's what it seems to be. And the Knight of Swords reverse, there's no drama here. There's nothing yet. But we have to give it time. We have to give it time and release about what we're thinking, and that kind of is in that moment. So we have to do exactly what we're doing, and this is kind of goes to that way, because you're not trying to have a mini pause situation, but the way it is, this is the way it kind of goes, and you have to underline about how you're feeling in one way or another, right? So this is like the day of the week. And this is the day of the week of June 16th to June 21st of 2025. So let's see what's going on. So I'll do a 3-card reading for the 2 of Wands here. So let's see what's happening. So this the World is upright, there's completion, King of Swords is upright, and the Judgment is upright. Yeah, because, well, it's reversed. It means that you have no action because you're not taking action. The King of Swords represents knowledge, because you're going to have knowledge here. And the World is upright, there's completion, because everything is completed. It's like, okay, that's fine, but then it's like, how would you do it? How would you understand that? How would you face your own reality, right? That's how it is, right? So when you have this situations about saying, okay, well, I know what to do, I got this, but then how I do it, right? That's how it seems to be. It's like, alright, well, I have to know exactly what it takes, because it's the way it seems to be. I need to know exactly what it is in that way. It's like, okay, everything seems fine. Alright, I know what to do. It's like, yeah, but doesn't make sense, right? You have to know exactly what it takes, because that's how it is. Let's talk about this judgment card here. Twenty Pentacles here, so there's no stability, but the Hermit is upright because you're looking for a soulmate, or it could be where you're having solitude, or whatever it is. So it's like beyond about this week, you pay attention on how you're feeling, right? It's way where you're going to have your own solitude, or maybe you're looking for a soulmate, maybe you're going to think about it, that's how it is. So you have to understand the way how you feel, the way how you act, the way how you can intervene about what you're doing. That's the way it goes, right? So it's like, okay, I know what to do, alright, I got this, but then it's like, how are you going to have your own interpretations of how you're going to be feeling? That's why it seems to be, right? That's why it kind of goes with the flow, because you pay attention on what's going on, right? So you have to understand that beyond about this whole entire week, you pay attention to it, right? You pay attention about every day, right? From the day of the week where you pay attention to it, right? That's how it is. And when you pay attention, you have to know exactly from your strengths, your weaknesses, the way how it is, and that's how it goes, right? That's why it seems to be. What's up between the Sun card all the way to this Judgment? The 3 of Wands here, there's no communication. Page 1 is upright, the 4 of Cups reversed, the 6 of Cups is upright, followed by the 8 of Swords is upright. So, the 4 of Cups reversed, there's no distraction here. There's nothing like that. The Page of Wands is upright, there's something else that was it. That's how it seems to be, and you're thinking, okay, well, I know what to do, but then it's like, how would I figure this out? Why I need to act like this? Because that's how it seems to be, right? So, you have to know exactly how it is in that way. That's how it seems to be. If the 3 of Wands reversed, you have no communication. You have basically a miscommunication. Maybe you have no communication at all. Maybe you can't express it, because that's how it seems to be. It's like, why why you're having this, right? Because if you're in grief, if you're in the way of how it goes, it's like, why are you saying this? Because that's how it is. You have to know exactly how it feels, because that's the way it seems to be. You need to exactly how it takes, because that's how it goes. Right? You have to get involved. When you get involved, you know what it takes, but that's how it is. If you look at the past, what the Six of Cups is, that's the past, right? Because you're talking about the past. It's like, why am I talking about this? I need to leave this alone. That's how it is. The Ace of Swords that does represent anxiety because you're feeling sad. You're whimpering. You don't know what to do. But then that's how it seems to be. So you can be dealing with in a Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. You can deal with in a Gemini, Aquarius. You deal with in a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. There's a lot of zodiac signs you pay attention to, and when you do that, that's how it is, right? That's why when you do it exactly how it is, you be mindful. You be who you are. You have to be authentic. You have to be who you are, because you need moderation, whatever it is. Because that's how it is. It's like, how would you do it in that way? The Ten of Swords, that represents conclusions. You have all these conclusions, and when it is that you have all that, right? It's like, why are you doing this? Why like I'm feeling like this? But that's the way it goes. You have to understand about what it takes, because that's how it seems to be. You're not trying to intervene. You're not trying to pull other people away, whatever it is, right? You have to understand about during this week, if you have grief and it's basically on that, it's like you're going to feel like that during this week, so you have to pay attention to it. What's between this Ten of Swords and this Knight of Swords here? Nine of Wands reversed. The Seven of Pentacles is upright. For the Moon is upright. For the Knight of Swords reversed. Yeah, because there's no drama here. Nine of Wands reversed. There's no fear, because you're not having fear. The Seven of Pentacles is upright. There is perfection here, but you're looking, or there's a vision here. But you're actually thinking about your career, right? That's how it is, right? So it's like, I know what to do, but then that's how it seems to be, right? You go with exactly what you're doing. That's how it is. What's happening with this Knight of Swords here? The Ten of Cups reversed, but the Two of Swords is upright. Yeah, you don't know which direction you're going to take, left or right. So depending on during this week, you pay attention to what you're going to be going through. That's how it is. So let's see what's going on for the left side. The Seven of Wands is upright, so you're feeling resilience. Okay, that's how it is. What's happening on the right side, please? The King of Wands. It does represent passion. It could be something else, but then you have to understand what it takes in that way, right? That's how it goes. But during that way, and during of how you're feeling, the way of how things are in that way, you have to know about what it is in that way. You have to believe that, okay, everything seems to be fine, alright, I know what to do, I got this. But then it's like, how would you do it during this week? How would you, when you have grief, it's basically, when you have grief and you lost somebody and you don't want them back, or you want them back, whatever, it's a circle way of life. That's how it is, right? When you have a circle way of life, you pay attention to it. Whether you have memories of that person, or it's how it is, whatever it is. And during this week, you pay attention on the day by day, week by week, month by month, and year by year. You pay attention to it. And when you do that, that's how it goes, right? That's why it seems to be. So, during the way of how it is, you have to know exactly how it is. So let me figure out what's going on from the middle to the right, middle to left. Ace of Cups is upright. For the Knight of Cups is upright. For the Seven of Pentacles is upright. For the Eight of Wands is upright. Yeah. So when you're looking for a career, that's what you're looking for. The Eight of Wands, it represents speed, because you're speedy. You want to be Speedy Gonzalez. Funny, but you know what I mean, right? Because that's how it is. Because that's the way it seems to be. The Ace of Cups, that represents romance here. It could represent Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio as water signs as well. The Knight of Cups does represent romance, because you might be having romance during this week, or something like that. That's why it's going to appeal to you on how it goes, right? That's the seems to be in that way, because that's the way it kind of goes in that way. So you have to understand about what's going on, right? What's happening between the middle and the left side, please? The Lovers is upright, so you make decisions. Nine of Swords is upright, there's trauma here. The Hierophant is upright, there's guidance. World reverse, there's incompletion. Five of Cups reverse, there's no grief. The King of Pentacles reverse, there's no security. The Emperor reverse, there's no structure. But the Ace of Pentacles upright, there's prosperity. You know, so when you have prosperity, you know what it is, but then that's the way it seems to be in that way, right? You have to know exactly how it kind of involves of that situation, because that's how it is. What's in the middle of this situation? The Fool reverse. So basically it means that you have no change, because that's the way it goes during this week. And you have to know exactly how it is from the ins and outs of the situation. You know, you have to know exactly how you're going to play the game. You know, that's the way it kind of goes. Because that's the way it seems to be. So, I'll do one card from the left side, the middle, and the right. So, the Lovers reverse, there's no decisions. The Sun reverse, there's negativity. And the Magician reverse, so there's no skill. Alright, so we have to clarify. I love that word, clarify. I'm going to clarify the Lovers. So let's see what's going on. So the Devil is upright, there's obsessions, and the Fool is upright, there's change. Yeah, because that's the way it goes. Because you might be thinking about why I'm having this violation, where I'm going to have violence, or whatever it is, because that's how it is. You have to know exactly what it seems to be in that way, because you're focusing on what's going to happen next. You're going to be focusing about what's going on in that way. You're trying to have stability. You're trying to get what you want. But then it's like, how will you do it? How are you going to visualize how well you're feeling? But that's the way it seems to be. It's like, okay, I know what to do. Alright, I got this. But then it's like, how am I going to do it? Right? That's why when you do that, that's the way it seems to be. Okay? What's this Sun card here? Let's see what's going on here. The Magician reverse, there's no skill. The Strength card is upright. The Sun card reverse. So, you know, what I'm going to clarify, between this Sun card that's negativity, you have this Sun card that's negativity, right? So when you're in negativity, that's the way it goes, right? So you're trying to figure out what's going on. If you have the Strength, you have bravery, because you're going to have that ability. What's happening with the Sun card here? The Tower reverse, for the Moon reverse, for the Star is upright. Yeah, because there's going to be inspirations, because that's the way it goes. You'll be wishing upon a star, because that's the way it goes, because that's the way it is. So when you have your own negativity and the way how it goes, is like, why are you doing it? Because that's like a pressure point. And when you have that pressure point, it's like, how will you do it in that way? It's like, this is not spreadable. This is not the way how it goes. This is not the way of the nitty gritty part. It's not that. You have to know exactly how it seems to be, because you have to do exactly what you're told to. Be responsible. How are you feeling? Be responsible of what you're going to be doing. That's the way it goes. And you have to understand that. What's happening with this Magician card? The Chariot is upright because you want progress. Empress reverse, there's no nourishment. The Hermit reverse, because you're not having no solitude. The Judgment reverse, there's no action. But the Hangman is upright, there's restrictions. Yeah, because you're being restricted of how you're feeling. And when you do that, you have to understand the way of how this is. The way how you're going to be intervening with what's going on, because you have to know about how it seems to be. This is like the way of how it's going to be in that way, because you have to focus on what's happening, right? You have to focus on what's going on. So let's see what the universe is saying here. And I'll be reading you the enchanted map last, but this is how it goes. So I'm going to go from the middle to the right, middle to left. So Knight wants reverse, there's no immaturity. The Judgment is alright, there's action. Five Pentacles is alright, there's insecurity. And Ace of Wands is alright, there's new beginnings. Yeah, because there's going to be new beginnings. So when you pay attention to it, you know that you're going to be having your own ways about saying, okay, I'll know what to do. Alright, I go with the flow. Alright, I'll pay attention. That's why it needs to be that, right? Because when you do that, you have to know exactly from your basic needs, from your wants, from your needs, your wants, everything else, and you have to do exactly what you're going to be doing. That's why it seems to be, because that's how it goes, right? That's why when you go with the flow, you pay attention on how you're feeling. That's why it's based on that. What's between the middle and the left side, please? The Two of Swords is upright, so you're in the crossroads. You don't know which direction you're going to take, left or right. Now I'm going to clarify this, okay? So I'm going to clarify what's on the right side. Six of Pentacles is the right, so you're going to have kindness. Alright, that's great. I'm happy for you. So when you have kindness, you're going to have kindness during this week. You're going to be trying to stay positive, not the negative, alright? Because you have to cut that. You have to cut that, the way of how you're going to be feeling, because that's how it is, right? Cut out the negativity. Try to stay positive more, because that's how it is. What's on the opposite direction as the left side? The 10 Pentacles reverse, yeah, because you have no wealth, right? Because you lost it all, or whatever it is. Because when you want to act kindness, you're going to do that during this week, because that's how it goes. What's between this 10 Pentacles here? The 3 of Cups reverse, there's no celebration. Emperor celebrate their structure. Yeah, exactly how it is. The 7 of Swords reverse, there's no deceit. The High Priest reverse, there's no inner voice, but King Pentacles celebrate their security. Yeah, that's the way it goes, right? So you have to have that way about knowing what to do, and you have to face your own facts, your own reality, because that's how it seems to be. It's like, okay, everything seems to be fine. Alright, I know what to do, I got this, but then it's like, how am I going to do it? Because that's how it is. Because during this week, you pay attention to how you're feeling, because that's how it goes. What's in the middle? Magician reverse, there's no skill. Page 1 story, there's invention. Alright, so that's what it seems to be, because you're trying to figure out that when you have invention, you're going to be inventor. That's how it is. What's up between this opposite of this invention card? The Page of Swords reverse, there's no education. The Page of Cups reverse, there's no loyalty. Alright, but the King of Cups reverse, there's support. Yeah, because when you have that, you have the ability to know about having support, having invention, having things that you're going to learn first, and that's how it is. You have to be who you are, because you have to know exactly from your rights, your own abilities, you know, the way how it is. So you're trying to have your own ways about saying, okay, well, I'm going with the flow, I know what to do, you know, that's how it is, right? So you have to know exactly what it takes, because about how it's going to be, and when you do that, you have to know about how it is. So let's see what's going on. So let's see. So let me read you this enchanted map, because you want to hear my beautiful voice. I'll get that back later. Alright, so this is how it is. So number 20 reversed is flying. So let's see. So this is going to be reversed. So it says here, reverse. When you see the flying card reversed, it is a gentle reminder that there are times to take flight and times to remain grounded. For now, you must avoid overreacting. There is still work to be done before you earn your wings. Be patient. When you seek, will not be out of reach forever. Remember the story of Icarus in Greek mythology, whose wax made wings and overconfidence brought him too close to the sun. He perished because he didn't realize his limitations. Humility is a great power. Now you must exercise it. Doing too much, too fast, too soon only serves to prevent a beautiful flight later on. So you have to know exactly what it takes, because you have to believe that you have to do exactly what you're told to do, but then you have to be responsible. How are you feeling? So before I let you all go, try to pay attention about this is the way how it goes. You have to understand that. You have to believe what you're looking for, but it's based on how it is. You have to know what it is, because beyond about this way, this is the way it seems to be, and you know exactly what it is. So you have to do exactly how it remains, right? So that's how it goes. And when you do that, that's the way it seems to be, but then that's the way it seems to be. So I hope you all like this video. Please give a like, please give a comment, because that's how it is. and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye for now. Really, thank you, and bye.